In the beginning of the movie, we are introduced to Dre Parker and his widowed mother named Sherry Parker. They decide to move China from Detroit to find a better life. But they are unaware of the country's traditions and different language. On their way, Dre decides to know about Mandarin and finds hard to speak it. They both are surprised to learn that China is not that old-fashioned as shown in the magazines. When they reach their apartment, Dre gets disappointed to find that his favorite cartoons are also dubbed in Chinese language. Sherry goes to bathroom and decides to take a shower. But she finds the pipe of hot water is broken. She asks Dre to visit the maintenance authorities. He speaks in English to them and they don't get what he is saying. Later he meets Mr. Han, one of the maintenance, and asks him to fix their apartment. But he doesn't listen him and starts catching a fly with his chopsticks. After meeting Han, Dre decides to explore the place. While walking around, he meets a boy Harry who also speaks English. Then he bets an old man in table tennis and loses the game. After this he sees a young girl Mei playing violin in the park. He tries to talk to her in Mandarin but she doesn't understand him. Mei appreciates his hairstyle. When they are talking, Mei's friend Cheng comes there and gets angry to find Dre is flirting with her. Dre also gets furious and they both start fighting. But Dre gets beaten up badly by Cheng as he knows martial arts. After arriving home, he tries to hide his wounds with his mother's makeup. The next day, he gets admission in the local school and is surprised to find Mei in the same class. But he also finds that Cheng is too in his class. Later, in the canteen, Cheng comes to Dre and slams his food tray. The teacher arrives and stops them from beating each other. Mei is worried about his new friend. In the afternoon, Han comes to Dre's apartment and finds him learning martial arts from the TV. Han asks Dre to come inside the bathroom so that he could teach him how to operate the hot water. But he doesn't listen him. Then Han takes a toothpaste cap and hits Dre while standing away from him. Sherry arrives home and gets annoyed with her son's behavior. Han listens their all conversation but he doesn't stop them. At the school, Dre sees Mei inside the auditorium and comes to know that she is practicing for the upcoming audition. She tells him that her family wants her to join the musical academy and she also wants to become a musician. She says she has to give her best in the audition. When he is leaving from there, Cheng arrives there with his gang. He warns him to keep distance from his friend. Later, Sherry and Dre visit a forbidden place and encounter a big group of kids learning martial arts. He breaks inside the academy and finds that Cheng is also practicing there. He gets uncomfortable to see him and asks his mother to leave the place. Being worried, Sherry questions him what actually happened with him in last days. He tells her that he doesn't like this country and blames his mother for moving here. The next day, after the school, Dre decides to take revenge. He secretly follows Cheng and his friends. He grabs a bucket of spoiled water and throws it at Cheng and his gang. This makes the boys angry and decide to punish him. They run after Dre around the city and try to catch him. After a long run, Dre gets trapped and tries to escape. But Cheng pulls him to the ground. The angry gang starts beating him badly. When Cheng is going to punch him one last time, suddenly Han appears and holds his hand. He asks the boys to leave the place but furious Cheng tries to fight with him. When he kicks Han, he blocks his attacks. It reveals that Han knows martial arts and he dodges their every attack and strikes smoothly. He confuses the boys with his moves and makes them beat each other. After getting beaten, Cheng decides to give up with his gang and runs from there. Han takes Dre to his apartment. He treats his wounds with a secret Chinese healing technique. Dre requests Han that he wants to learn Kung Fu from him. But Han is not interested to teach. Later, he goes to Kung Fu Academy fighting Dragon and tries to settle the matter with Cheng. He meets his martial arts teacher Lee. He is ruthless and angry teacher who always teaches the kids to show no mercy to their opponents. He rejects the peace proposal and challenges them to fight against Cheng. But Han decides to leave as he doesn't want to create enmity with anyone. While leaving, he notices a poster of Kung Fu tournament and challenges him to prove his teachings. Lee accepts the offer for Cheng. Han tells Dre that he has to fight Cheng and others in the tournament. Dre gets shocked as he knows nothing about martial arts. Han tells him that what Lee teaches his students is not real Kung Fu, it is only a cruelty and spoiling the kids' characters. He promises him that he will teach him the real Kung Fu. In the evening, Dre goes to Han's house in excitement. He finds a broken car in his house. Han welcomes him and starts the training. The boy gets disappointed when he finds that the training technique is not what he expected. Han orders him to take off his jacket, hang it on the wood and then take it down. He is asked to do this exercise repeatedly. But he doesn't realize that this training is for teaching him how to be in discipline. In the following days, he do that only exercise continuously. He keeps doing it even in the bad weather. Sherry comes to meet Dre and asks Han to visit the Shishi festival with them. In the festival, when Dre is walking around, he sees Mei Ying. She asks him to watch a skit show together. Dre invites her to his kung fu match and asks her to support him. He promises her that he will also visit her audition to support her. Han tells Sherry that Xiao Dre, the name that he gave to the boy, is his first student. After a few days, Dre gets frustrated with the same exercise and tells Han that he doesn't want to learn. He makes fun of Han and says he doesn't know about kung fu. Then Han stands up and decides to show the real motive behind that training. He shows him that his muscle memory has developed. Dre also gets shocked when he manages to stop Han attacks and tackle his movement. Then Han explains him that kung fu lies in the every aspect of our life, including putting on his jacket and taking it off. From that day, after getting a meaningful lesson, Dre has raised a huge respect towards his teacher. In the next morning, Han takes him to a kung fu temple in Wudong Mountain. He tells him that he used to learn his kung fu here. Dre encounters unseen kung fu styles and techniques. He gets amazed when he finds a woman hypnotizing a cobra who follows her movement. After this, Han shows him a dragon well and asks him to drink the water. After arriving home, Han starts his next level training. He decides to train Dre's flexibility and his concentration. After a long training sets, it seems that the boy has developed a strong body and Han asks him to take a rest for a day. On his off day, he decides to meet Mei Ying and explore the city with her. They walk around the city and do lots of fun. They go to arcade games and Mei Ying shows him her dance. Dre gets surprised to see her amazing moves. When they are talking, Mei Ying gets a call from his father and he tells her that her audition has rescheduled to today. Then he comes to pick her up as she gets late for her audition. Dre follows them to the audition place and present there to support her. After the audition, Mei Ying's parents forbid her from meeting the boy again. She says goodbye to Dre from away and he gets upset. After this, Dre goes to Han's place and finds him drunken. He is destroying his only car in anger. Later, Han tells him that on this date, he lost his son and wife in a car accident. He says he feels himself guilty for their death and can't forgive himself. To get him out of his past, Dre grabs his hands and asks him to train him as he would teach his own son. The boy becomes motivated and decides to win the contest for his teacher. After passing the extreme training, Han tells him that now he is completely ready for the tournament. He takes him to the venue and gives him his first kung fu suit. After this, Dre goes to Mei Ying's house and apologizes to her dad in Mandarin. Mei Ying's dad appreciates his effort and is impressed with his behavior. He is also convinced to let Mei Ying to present at his match. The next day, the tournament has started. The place is fully crowded with the audience and fighters from different countries have participated. Dre comes forward for his first battle, but he gets confused about the rules and loses his points. In the next fight, he gets his confidence and eliminates his opponent with a strong kick. On the other side, Cheng has also entered the next round of the tournament. He easily eliminates his opponent and becomes the first contestant to enter the finale. Meanwhile, Dre is entered into the semi-final round and is ready to face the fighters from the Fighting Dragon Academy. But before the fight, Lee asks his student to break Dre's leg. He decides to follow his master, although he has realized that he will be out of the tournament. When the match starts, Liang gets furious and continuously strikes at Dre's legs. After the fight, the doctor checks Dre's leg and declares that he can't fight in this condition. Now there is only one fighter who has entered the final. Everyone is waiting for Dre and Cheng is about to get the trophy. Meanwhile, Dre asks Han to treat his leg with his ancient technique. He tells him that this is the only chance to prove himself in Han's teaching. But Han refuses to help him and says he doesn't want to watch him getting hurt more. But the boy somehow manages to convince his teacher. After getting the treatment from Han, he enters the ring and the final has started. He loses the first round after getting a flying kick from Cheng. But he returns with strong attacks and gets extra points than his opponent. Then Cheng decides to cheat and target Dre's injured leg. He kicks Dre badly and breaks his leg. Dre starts screaming in pain and Cheng gets the point. In the final round, Dre gathers some courage to keep fighting and stands only one leg. He remembers the girl who controlled the snake in the temple and tries to copy her style. Cheng gets confused and attacks towards him. But Dre uses his secret move and kicks Cheng in his face. Cheng is not in position to stand up and Dre win the tournament. Later, Cheng respectively hands over the trophy to him and the other students of the academy bow down to Han.